Welcome back to Winners and Losers, everybody, the show that looks at the highs and the lows from around world football. As you can tell, it's a bit of an unusual setup today. Not the same table, not the same chairs. That's because we're in a meeting room, because our studio is too loud. But something that is usual is Patrick Van Straten sat to my right.
Yeah.
We're going to be kicking this straight off in England with our first winner, and it simply has to be Chelsea, Pato.
Yes, indeed. Liam Cronje and a bunch of you were suggesting that Chelsea had to be in the winners this week, and it's understandable. They beat City 3-1 away to go top of the league. They're 3 points clear of second place Arsenal. They've now won 8 on the bounce. They've scored 22 and they've conceded just 2. Now, this game was remarkable for a bunch of reasons. It's the first time that City have lost a game that they were leading in at home since April 2009.
That's ridiculous.
Also, Chelsea are now on 34 points. Do you know how long it took them to get to 34 points last season?
Christmas?
February 27th is when they reached 34 points. They've done it this year by early December. Incredible scenes. And we were kind of surprised because Fabregas came in for the injured Nemanja Matic. You wondered if that was going to be a bit of a problem, especially as City had an incredibly attacking lineup.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Just crammed it with attacking talent. But this was a really great counter-attacking performance. They could have gone further behind early on, but they held on and they managed to get some fantastic breakaway goals. Willian and Hazard putting the game beyond doubt. They've now scored 7 goals and conceded just 1 in their games against Pep and Mourinho so far this season. Incredible scenes.
Conte is a very happy little Italian man, isn't he, right now? And he will be going forward as well. I'm sure the rest of December's looking pretty tasty for Chelsea as well. They've got West Brom, they've got Sunderland, Palace, Bournemouth, Stoke. So they should be looking to take maximum points from that. It'll be interesting to see how long they can stretch this winning streak. And the main man, Diego Costa. He looks so good at the moment. Going into this game, him and Aguero were both on 10 goals. It was kind of a battle between the strikers, and Costa clearly came out on top. We'll talk about Aguero a little later, but Costa, 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 key passes, 33 touches, very impressive. And in fact, no player has been involved in more goals this season in Europe's top 5 leagues than Costa.
That's
got 11
outrageous.
goals and 5 assists. He's been incredible. In fact, since Boxing Day 2015, so for the whole of 2016, he's got 30 goals in 28 Premier League games. Been involved in anyway. That is ridiculous numbers Diego Costa's been thrown up, and he's looking even better under Conte, as is Eden Hazard. He scored twice as many goals already this season than he did in the whole of last season. He's got 8. That's pretty impressive as well. And that was his first ever goal versus Manchester City. And Chelsea are looking impressive.
First up in our losers category, it had to be Sergio Aguero. Thank you to Dari Al-Salah and Exitex who gave us that suggestion.
Hell of a name, Exitex, as I say on Sunday Vibes. But Pep is an unhappy man. We saw him sarcastically clapping the referee on the weekend. Oh, a bit of a wanker move, if you ask me. Nevertheless, he hates playing against the Blues. He hates playing against Chelsea. No wins from his 6 games played against them in all competitions. 4 draws, 2 losses. Not great. And that was his first home defeat in the league as Manchester City manager as well. So really ugly scenes on the weekend. In fact, Manchester City haven't been good at home for a long, long time now. That was... they still haven't won a Premier League game since September the 17th.
Wow.
That is ridiculous. That is a long, long time ago now. And also, obviously, there was ill discipline, wasn't there? There was fights breaking out. We've seen Otamendi's now banned for a game, 5 yellow cards. Fernandinho banned for 3 games after that cheeky little throat grab on Cesc Fabregas, where he kind of knocked him backwards and like a feather, Cesc managed to stumble 6 yards backward and fall over an advertising board. Pathetic stuff from Cesc Fabregas, but stupid stuff from Fernandinho. But there's only one man, really, who caught everybody's attention, Pato.
Yes, indeed. Sergio Aguero, of all people, red-carded for an absolute horror tackle on David Luiz. It is quite incredible. The foot comes so high, mate. It was going up his shorts. Unbelievable stuff. He's now banned for 4 games. That will include Watford, Arsenal, Hull and Leicester. By the way, Fernandinho will also miss the Arsenal game, to you Gunners fans out there.
Stuff.
Very exciting times. Now, Aguero did what he always did. He got a lot of shots in this game. He had 6, which is an awful lot, and 5 of those were from inside the box.
Wow.
But he failed to make a single one count. He also failed to produce a single key pass, and made fewer passes for City than any player except for Leroy Sané. So he was a little bit peripheral in this game. Whereas you look at Diego Costa, that turn and pass for the Willian goal was absolutely out of this world. And actually, at the moment, I think you'd have to say that Aguero's spot as the best striker in the Premier League has been superseded by Diego Costa. In this game, it was a match-up between the two of them, and I think we all know who came out on top. But can they pull it out of the bag, and which one of them will finish as the Premier League's top scorer, or will it be someone else? Let us know what you think in the comments below.
We're heading out to Europe now for our next winners, and it's German side Borussia Dortmund, as suggested by Yash Singh Junjaja. Probably pronounced that wrong, but a good day on the weekend for Thomas Tuchel's boys.
Yes, indeed, a 4-1 win over Borussia Mönchengladbach. That took Dortmund up to the heady heights of 6th place in the Bundesliga. They're only 3 points off 3rd place Hertha Berlin, though, so they are still in with a shout. They still look like they'll get Champions League places. Gladbach, on the other hand, horrible run for them. They're now 8th without a win. Could they beat their record set in 2014 of 9 Bundesliga games without a win? There's not a lot of bright spots at the moment. Though they went 1-0 up. Raphael, I'm a big fan of Raphael. He got an early goal for them, but it lasted less than a minute before Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang steamed up the other end and equalised. And then it turned into an absolute shellacking, mate. Gladbach fell apart, conceded 18 shots, 7 on target, and had just 39% of the possession. They were distinctly second best on the day.
Yeah, and we talk about Diego Costa being on fire. Well, let me talk to you about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. 8 goals in his last 4 Bundesliga matches, although he did come out after the game, didn't he? And say he's not sure if he'll still be at Borussia Dortmund next year. And there's one reason for that. He's already the top scorer in the Bundesliga this season with 14 goals. 14 goals at this stage of the season. Given that Costa's on 11, Aguero's on 10, we think about them being top-level strikers. That is truly phenomenal. Marco Reus also played a big part in this game. It was his second start. Of course, in his first start, we all know what happened there, got a hat-trick. In his second, he got a hat-trick of assists on the weekend. He looks really, really dangerous. And Ousmane Dembele on the other side was a constant threat. And really, he is having the season of his life. We know he only joined Dortmund in the summer, but at Rennes he was phenomenal too. 36 games he's had in 2016. He's got 14 goals and 13 assists in that time. That's incredible for a player that is so young. But Borussia Dortmund are still storming up the table. Fingers crossed they can keep it going.
We stay on the continent for our next losers, and it's Paris Saint-Germain at the suggestion of Simon.
Ooh.
No surname.
What Simon says goes, and he says that Unai Emery has been poor, and he would be correct. He's not had a good start to the season, as we all know, and a 3-0 domination by long ball Montpellier on the weekend won't have helped. His side had 68% possession as well, and they still conceded 3. In fact, here's a shocker. Montpellier only had 3 shots on target, and they all found their way into the back of their net. That was actually Montpellier's first win in 12 games over PSG. So Unai Emery will not be a happy bunny at home. Cavani as well. The less about his performance on the weekend, the better. He was on the pitch for 81 minutes, didn't muster a shot, had 12 touches, and completed just 10 passes. 10 passes for being on the pitch 81 minutes. What a disgraceful performance. He's so frustrating. His movement's incredible, but sometimes he lets himself down, Pato. But not a good day for PSG, was it?
No, indeed. They had 88% pass completion in this game. Ooh. But that long ball play of Montpellier just defeated them. They completely bypassed that midfield of Krychowiak, Matuidi, and the youngster Nkunku. So they just knew that they couldn't go toe-to-toe with them. They knew they couldn't take them on in passing. And so they came up with a game plan that worked for them. And actually, there were some very impressive youngsters on the pitch. I want to put my hat on Shqiri, who's 21, and Sanson, who's 22. They were really the highlights. Sanson in particular, 2 assists and 5 successful dribbles. These are incredible stats. PSG are now down in 3rd place. They're 4 points behind Nice. Unai Emery is having a very tough time, and it looks like they're now going to top their Champions League group. But if they don't win the league this season, then I have no idea what that might mean for the Spaniard. But let us know in the comments below. Do you think that they will pull it back and win the league, or do you think Nice or Monaco are going to steal it this season?
Come on, Nice. Our final winners are a suggestion by Patrick Van Straten himself. Of course, it's his own team. It's Arsenal, what a performance on the weekend, Patrick. You must be an excited man.
Yes, indeed. An away game at West Ham is never easy, except this season when it's really, really fucking easy. We're now up to second in the table with Liverpool and City losing after a 5-1 slapdown of West Ham. And we've been great in the Premier League, kind of quietly. Since that opening day loss against Liverpool at home, in 13 games, we've got 9 wins, 4 draws, and we've scored 30 goals. In fact, there are only 2 teams in the Premier League who've conceded fewer goals than us, and there's only 1 team who's scored more goals than us.
That's impressive.
So we're on fuego. Mesut Ozil, 8 goals in all competitions this season so far. That equals his tally for the whole of last year. He seems to have stopped assisting, though he did get an assist in this game, and started scoring. Wow. What are you doing, Mesut? That's not your job. Sit down, son. Also, Oxlade-Chamberlain looked good in this game. Now, partially that's because West Ham had a really ropey right side. They had Emilson Fernandez go off injured early on. They had to bring on Alvaro Arbeloa, and they were all over the shop after that. But Oxlade-Chamberlain really took advantage of that space. He got 4 key passes, a goal and an assist, and he was just storming down the wing. They had no idea how to deal with that pace, and he could be on the cusp of becoming great, though we have been saying that for about 4 or 5 years now. But who knows? It was a very good day out for Arsenal anyway, and there's one man who Joe wants to talk about.
Well, obviously, it's Alexis Sanchez. The man's got the 9 on his back, and he is thriving. He hasn't literally got that number, has he?
No, he's got number 7.
But he is playing in the number 9 role, and he is on fire. On the weekend, 5 shots, 5 chances created, 3 take-ons, 3 goals, 1 assist. Those are mental numbers. His hat-trick came in just 14 minutes, the 3rd fastest of any Arsenal player in Premier League history. And his 2nd goal was dirty. Created it, scored it himself, the brilliant turn, it's in the box, fires it across the keeper. And then his hat-trick goal, one of the filthiest step-overs I have ever seen. Honestly, it was disgusting. Poor Randolph's coming into training with Egyptian clothes on. He sent him back that far back in time, not even to the Victorian age. He sent him back to the Egyptians. Honestly, he was disgusting, but brilliant, brilliant player. Obviously, this season, 37 take-ons, 35 chances created, 11 goals already, 4 assists, and a 35% conversion rate. That is just phenomenal. What a player Alexis Sanchez is. I have to say, Pato, he might have the best player in the league.
What? We head over to Wales now, thanks to Didier and Alex, who suggested that Swansea have to be in our losers. And after a 5-0 defeat to Spurs, who are we to argue with them?
Well, Bob Bradley, or as we like to call him, Brad Bobley, he's having an ugly time. His soccer teams are all over the place, and he is hanging by the thinnest of American threads right now. Apparently, he was minutes away from being sacked during the Palace game, so God knows what's happened after losing 5-0 to Tottenham Hotspur. It's possibly one of the worst team performances I have seen so far this season from any side. It was awful. Honestly, they must have just one shot all game, and that was from Gylfi Sigurdsson, who was playing as an out-and-out striker in Brad Bobley's system. What on earth is going on? He's got Llorente on the bench, he's got Borja Bastón on the bench. Why not play at least one of them? We all know Sigurdsson's not a striker, let's face it. That just shows how he's going to set up. He's going to set up deep, and he's going to set up for a draw with Sigurdsson up front. Quite frankly, unacceptable. Spurs had 28 shots in this game. Harry Kane really should have had a hat-trick. He obviously got 2, but he did attempt 8
shots.
8 shots in one game. No wonder Brad Bobley is on the way out. Maybe Ryan Giggs might be on his way in. But Patrick, surely there's some positives.
Well, that was you talking about the attacking end, but on the defensive end, they're possibly even worse. They've conceded 9 goals in the last 2 games. They conceded 4 against Crystal Palace. What is going on? Van der Horn and Amat made 26 clearances in this game.
26?
They were just hoofing it out whenever they could. It was coming straight back at them. Now, look, we don't expect Swansea necessarily to get a result against Spurs. Spurs are an excellent side, especially when they're on song, and they were on song in this game. But Swansea are bottom of the league. They've got 9 points. They're 3 points adrift of 17th. They've got 1 win in 12. And when you look at this squad, it's kind of hard to see why. Sigurdsson's a good player, Montero, Key, Cork. There is talent there. And yet, here they are, propping up the league. Harry Kane, meanwhile, 6 goals in 5 games. Looks absolutely unstoppable. True. You can't do anything about him. And what we wonder is, should they have kept Francesco Guidolin?
Probably not. Hire Ryan Giggs.
No,
you want to do it.
Don't hire Ryan Giggs.
We've got some shout outs from you guys at home now. You've been tweeting them in all weekend. If you want to tweet them in, send them in to either me, Patrick, or you can send them to the Football Daily account. All the links are on screen now. We've got West Brom from Aaron Toomey, who have actually entered the top 7. Seriously impressive stuff from Tony Pulis. We've also got Feyenoord and Monaco, who both won 5-0 on the weekend, thanks to Aniket Rahman. And we've got a shout out for the referee in the Newcastle game. I have no clue about that. That might even be in the losers section. I've probably put it in the wrong one, but JJ Picks, there you go, my friend.
Yes, well, Aaron Toomey, greedy bastard that he is, has also got somebody in the losers suggestions. He's got Sevilla, who lost to bottom-placed Granada this weekend. Loris Karius, he's a suggestion from Dalto Nathan. That fumble that gave Bournemouth an historic 4-3 victory the other day. Lazio have got a shout from Bilal Siddiqui after their bad performance in the Rome derby. And also a final shout out from young Joe Tomlinson, who's got a little shout from Marouane Fellaini, who did not have his best game.
F you, Fellaini! So that's all we've got time for today, but make sure you head over to Euro Football Daily where they're doing their Euro Roundup. Patrick, what are you in the hamster discussing today?
Well, obviously El Clasico has to make an appearance. We're going to talk about Real Madrid and their phenomenal start to the season. We're also, unsurprisingly, going to be taking a trip to Merseyside where we commiserate with Liverpool fans everywhere after their shock 4-3 defeat to Bournemouth.
Decent. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Catch you next time.